Je suis Joe. The toy room, c'est magnifique.
Hi there! Welcome back to the Toy Room. Today we're going to take a look at G.I. Joe's Action Soldiers of the World, and in particular, a naughty little adventure of the French Joe.
Moi?
In 1966, building on the success of the original G.I. Joe, Hasbro Toys produced a series of 6 new soldiers from all over the world based on soldiers that fought in World War II. These 6 figures included the Australian Jungle Fighter, the German Soldier, the French Resistance Fighter, the Russian Infantryman, the Japanese Imperial Soldier, and the British Commando. Stiff upper lip, chap. I don't believe that the Action Soldiers of the World sold all that well in 1966, and my mom, who often went shopping with her good friend Kathleen Gackstetter, it's my understanding that she picked up all 6 figures on clearance after the holiday season, with the intention of giving them to her kids the following Christmas. So in 1967, I would have been 8 years old, and my younger brother Tom would have been 5 years old, and we got all 6 of these action figures. The action figures that I got were the Japanese Imperial Soldier, the Frenchman, and the British Commando. My younger brother Tom got the German Soldier and the Australian Jungle Fighter. Originally, my mom gave the Russian Infantryman to my older brother Dave. And my brother Dave is 5 years older than me, and he thought that was silly. Dave thinks a lot of things are silly, and maybe he's right. So he gave the Russian Infantryman to my younger brother Tom, so then each of us had 3 of the figures, and they were pretty cool.
And they're actually in this closet here, down in a bag here, and they're in this box that I pulled out of the bag, and I'm just going to open it up, and there they are. And they got a stretcher, which they don't really need. We can take that out of there. And there's the Frenchman, the British Commando, and the Japanese Imperial Soldier. And we'll take those out and take a look at them.
So let's meet some of the boys from the shoebox. And here we have the British Commando, and he comes with a gas mask and a gas mask case, and he has a Sten submachine gun, and he also has a canteen on the side. He probably has a little whiskey in there, and he has a nice little helmet here. And for the Action Soldiers of the World, they designed a new head mold. You can see that this doesn't have the scar like the traditional G.I. Joe has. And they used this head for 5 of the Action Soldiers. And for the 6th one, they had a specially custom designed head for that one, and we'll see that a little later. You've already met the French Resistance Fighter, and he comes with a beret and a black sweater, and he has a 7.65 submachine gun. And other accessories he has. He had a little radio set here with a telegraph key and headphones to call his girlfriend, no doubt. And he had some grenades, and maybe he should also came with a bottle of wine and a loaf of bread. But those were the things that he has.
Yeah, here's the little revolver that the French Joe had in his holster.
The 3rd Action Soldier of the World that I had gotten was the Japanese Imperial Soldier, and he came with a Arisaka rifle, and this had a bayonet with it, which I don't have anymore. And he has a nice helmet here. As I said, this one of the figures had a different head mold made, and this is the one, and he doesn't look too happy, and we'll take a look at the back of this soldier, and there's his field pack. We can take a view of him from behind.
And this is the little Nambu pistol that came with the Japanese soldier.
Another nice thing that came with each of the Action Soldiers of the World was this counterintelligence manual. Now you see that it's confidential, so don't tell anybody that you've seen this. We'll take a look at the back, and there's some nice illustrations back there of all the soldiers, and we'll just page through this real quickly here. to see the illustrations. There shows the movable action figure, and each one, it details all the equipment that they had and tells a little story about them. And there's the German and the Frenchman and the Russian and the Japanese soldier and the British commando. And this shows the different packs available. And here it comes in two ways. These full deluxe packages with all the accessories, or you could get them separately without the accessories, and then you could buy the accessories separately also. As I mentioned earlier, my younger brother Tom had the other three soldiers, but a couple years ago at a toy show I was able to pick up a really nice condition German soldier, and he came with a 9mm Schmeisser pistol and a couple hand grenades. Here's a close-up of the German soldier, and as you can see, he has a medal on his uniform, and all of the action soldiers of the world came with a little medal, and those were immediately lost, and they, as a result, became quite collectible, and I'm assuming this one must be a reproduction. Tom also had the Australian jungle fighter, and he was pretty cool because he had a cool hat and he wore shorts and he had a little entrenching tool here and he came with a flamethrower, so that was a neat one too. The third soldier that Tom had was the Russian infantryman, and he had a neat hat too. He had a fur hat and he had a machine gun and he had field glasses and an ammo box and these weird looking anti-tank grenades. Growing up on 14th Avenue in South St. Paul, my mom had a friend named Helen May that lived down the street. And from time to time she'd go visit her. And when it was dark out, I was terrified that my mom would fall down a sewer. It's funny how a kid will have these irrational fears because my mom could not physically fit down that sewer. And from time to time, Helen May would stop by the house to visit my mom, and she made a fuss over me, and she called me her boyfriend, and I was a shy little boy, and that sort of scared me. And I suppose, even to this day, women sort of scare me. Anyway, at some point, Tom and I brought some of our G.I. Joes up to the lake cabin. The lake cabin was built in 1955 by our parents, and it was a simple cabin, but it had what I thought was a wonderful feature for a kid, and that it had this ladder that you went up to a trap door, and you got into an attic loft where the boys slept. And it was sort of unfinished and rough by today's standards. The flooring went out, and at the edge, there was an open space at the roof line about this big that was open to the level below. And over the years, my parents had a lot of wonderful visitors up at the lake cabin. And I remember one particular time that Helen May came up for a visit. And in the morning, I must have got this idea that we should send one of our Joes on a special mission. So Tom and I tied a string around the French Joe, and we got on our bellies and we went up to the edge there with the open space at the roof line, and we lowered the French Joe down into Helen May's bedroom. And we couldn't get close enough to see downstairs, so we had no idea where the Joe was going. But you could kind of tell that when he hit the bottom there, when he hit something, there was no tension on the string. So then we raised him back up and brought him up to the attic, and it was mission accomplished for the Joe. And so we didn't know if Helen May had even seen the French Joe enter her room. But at breakfast that morning, Helen made the comment of, "A little man came into the room and kissed me." Helen May was a lovely lady, and we had a lot of fun times up at the lake cabin and a lot of fun times with the G.I. Joes. French Joe and I would like to thank you for stopping by the toy room. Until next time, see you later. Any closing thoughts, French Joe?
Je t'aime, mon petit chouchou. Au revoir.